This question is from Amita Joseph, who's director of the Business and Community Foundation. Well, Mr. Menon, do you think that ethical consumerism is a force that OEMs and brands should start paying attention to before it becomes a force?
Thank you, Manvi, for this question. Yes, of course, it's an important attribute which must be recognized by the OEMs. But I'm saying that is one important aspect, certainly. But I think OEMs and our member organizations in the auto sector would want to do it for economic sense also. I think it makes sheer and pure economic sense to focus on health and safety from an angle of productivity. So from all aspects, and I think there was a question on government regulations. Yes, government has a role to play, but I think industry has to do it proactively. There have been many cases and many instances where industry has come out with a voluntary code and have worked very closely with members to follow that code in terms of enforcement in some form. So there is a role which industry can play, and I think that is what we are committed as SIAM to work with Safe India Foundation and see how we can structure that mechanism and which industry can play a much more proactive role.
Vinny, this idea of ethical consumerism potentially becoming a force in itself, potentially government also, in a sense, highlighting it, and the impact that could have on everyone that's in the supply chain. Reflect on that.
So, Manvi, this is something great if it can be sort of pick up. The problem in our society is that we are not a very aware society. Whichever society you look at, you may go and sign as many conventions as you want, but if the society is not an awakened, is not an aware society, you will never progress. Okay, now this thought of ethical consumerism is absolutely brilliant, but the consumer should bear in mind that eventually they'll have to bear the cost. Okay, because there is a cost to compliance. Okay, when we are talking about invoking anything, there's a cost to it, and Mr. Menon referred to the economics of it. Okay, the whole point is if we as a society are willing to walk that talk, we can definitely make a change. But are we willing? Are we ready? I also sometimes, moving a little bit out of the context, you see, we are running through a pandemic. Okay, everybody knows it's a health hazard. How many of people you see on the road wearing a mask properly? I go to my office every once a week and I find on the road people with masks on their chins, 90% of the people, maybe if not 90, 80% at least. So the point is, are we an aware society? Do we really mean to literally evolve? It's for us to look inwards and then comment on. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, that's how.
No, point taken. Society has a role to play. And after all, we are talking about ethical consumerism here.
And by the way, I'm not defending the accidents that happen. It's a
right.
shame. Yeah.
Right.
Ethical producerism must take place. And I have done a study on the supply chain of automobile industry in Pune. The cost of, the cost of lives and labor cost is shifted vertically downwards. The OEM is the biggest maximizer of profits. There is no HR audit done by the OEMs or tier 1 or tier 2 from the ancillaries. So it is ethical producerism is required. Consumerism will come later.